Okay, so just to give you some background about eCampus Ontario, as most of you know, eCampus is a nonprofit organization funded by the government of Ontario that leads a group of 53 publicly funded colleges, universities, and Indigenous institutes. Our goal is to promote the use of educational technologies and digital learning environments, particularly through our department EdTech Sandbox, where we created a safe and risk-free space for institutions to experiment with educational technology tools. So Sandbox portal that I'll drop a link in the chat for helps educators to discover tools, pilot them for a short term and explore their pedagogical potential, review their capabilities through our standard assessments, and adopt technologies by accessing a community support channel and product information. If you have any questions about our program, Sandbox Pilots, or anything related to Sandbox, please let us know. I'm actually dropping our email in the chat as well and our community link. Feel free to join the community. And yeah, without further ado, let's introduce our presenters. Please join me in welcoming Andres and Melissa. Andres has 10 years of experience cultivating experience in higher education sector. His mission is to make education accessible and engaging learners for all backgrounds, from all backgrounds and levels for more effective education. He consults universities, colleges, and government agencies to bridge gaps for various learners. Melissa is a creative leader skilled in EdTech, customer success, and relationship building. She's passionate about bridging gaps and driving growth. She believes in leadership through service and collaboration as well. Andres walks us through JoVE platform, and Melissa also facilitates the workshop today. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Andres.
Thanks, Mel. Just want to welcome everyone today. Super excited to be here. Okay, so in terms of the agenda for today, we wanted to make this as interactive as possible. So we have about an hour and a half. Not sure we'll need the full 90 minutes, but just generally speaking, we wanted to spend about the first half an hour going over JoVE and some specific use cases that can be used for different courses and activities at your institution. And then we will break out into rooms where you will be have an opportunity to work with other people that are attending this workshop and go through some different use cases for JoVE. And then at the end, we'll come back as a larger group, open it up to Q&A and discussion, and then talk about some closing remarks and next steps. So thanks, Mo, for introducing us. Melissa and I are both regional sales directors for JoVE. I look after Canada, and Melissa looks after the Northeast of the United States. So we're super happy to be here again. So about JoVE, some of you may have not attended the UDL accessibility webinar that we hosted a couple of weeks ago. So for those of you that are new to JoVE or haven't heard about JoVE before, JoVE essentially stands for Journal of Visualized Experiments, and we are the world's leading producer and provider of education videos. And really our mission, or the core thing that we do is provide video-based learning resources to help learners understand complex topics. So with that, we have over a library of 20,000 research and education videos that have all been vetted by a team of subject matter experts. We have thousands of subscribing institutions globally. Shortly, I'll also highlight some of the institutions in Canada that subscribe to JoVE. And we generate over 60 million unique video visits per year And we have over 7 million students and faculty worldwide using JoVE to help make science education more accessible for their learners. So I wanted to provide a quick snapshot of JoVE and our different subscribers. So you can I want to provide a comprehensive list here. So you can see that we work with a lot of different universities, colleges, and polytechs across Canada. So if your institution is on this list, you may already have access to JoVE at your institution. So we're happy to circle back with you afterwards to talk about what your institution already have access to. If your institution doesn't have access to JoVE, we'll talk about some things that you can do through eCampusOntario, even if you're not an Ontario-based institution, to be able to pilot our platform for your courses and programs. So we found that 80% of students are not prepared for introductory college and university courses. This comes from an ACT study taking a look at high school students in the United States. I would certainly like to think this also translates to Canada as well. Creating lots of learning gaps with students first come to a higher ed institution. And I think for faculty and learning departments at different institutions, this really represents a challenge of how you bridge a gap and help provide contents to kind of remediate those. We found talking to faculty and different institutions that many students are turning to resources like TikTok and YouTube to find additional resources. So something like JoVE can certainly help provide vetted resources in a video-based format that students seem to really like to help understand complex topics in the classroom. Other challenges that we've been hearing from institutions, lack of confidence, leading to a lack of engagement, difficulty comprehending what they read, right? So related to literacy gaps stemming from high school, learning loss, or lack of foundation for introductory courses, right? So having to spend a lot of time remediating some fundamental concepts that students should already know when they start courses. Low student retention and graduation rates, specifically in STEM. We've also gotten lots of feedback, or lots of faculty and institutions now dropping textbook materials in the favor of like OER resources, to help improve affordability, and then also just poor test scores as well, stemming from the lack of engagement. So, how does JoVE address these challenges? We essentially bring these topics to life through high impact animations, and then also videos done from an experimental side, like in the lab. So if you have any sort of lab courses at your institution, we certainly have content for a lot of different STEM disciplines, which we'll go into briefly. At a high level, our videos are content. We simplify concepts, and we create engaging learning experiences for learners. And then we also help learners build confidence by reinforcing learning and providing resources that resonate with today's students. So there's a couple different use cases of integrating JoVE into a particular course and program. And certainly Melissa will do a little bit of a deep dive into some of these to show you what the capabilities or the possibilities are right within a learning management system. But I just wanted to list a few of them here. So JoVE could work really well as a textbook replacement or supplement. Lab productivity and safety, right? If you're finding lots of challenges, with getting the students prepped for a lab, JoVE could work really well in that instance. A remediation tool, so like a pre-lecture quiz or video to get your students more engaged before they come to the classroom. You could also deploy a post-lecture quiz as a formative assessment. And then also, JoVE is also a really great tool to support learner diversity, right? And this is tied into that webinar that I referenced a couple of weeks ago. That we showcased a couple of use cases from best concepts in UDL and accessibility. I think one of the things that resonates really well from a JoVE perspective in Canadian higher ed specifically is that we translate the majority of our videos across 14 different languages, both voice over subtitles. So if you have a large international student demographic on campus, having something like JoVE can certainly help bridge those, some of the gaps associated to ESL learners. So I wanted to kind of give you a snapshot of some of the content areas that we publish videos in. I wouldn't say this is a comprehensive list necessarily. We continue to publish into more areas. Just based on our background in bio and chemistry, we certainly have a lot of content in that area. We've also started to expand into the business and economics area. We have physics and engineering content. Something that is also very popular for subscribing institutions is nursing, clinical skills, anatomy and physiology is also very popular. For nursing specifically, we'll also be releasing some content around medical surgical nursing, and then also some content on more detailed pharmacology, content like pharmacokinetics. We also have some content on social sciences, so intrapsych, social psych, and then also statistics, right? So I would say that's a good kind of overview of some of the different areas that we plan. I alluded to this earlier. I mentioned that some of the institutions on this call, some of your schools may already have a subscription to JoVE. If that is the case, that is more likely than not facilitated through the library. However, we have since expanded into other subscription models, namely department, right? So if, for example, School of Nursing is interested in using JoVE across their curriculum, we can certainly provide access that way. And then the other one is also student pay, which is essentially getting students to pay for a subscription through your campus bookstore, right? So very similar to how a textbook adoption would work. And then the last one as well, which Mo also alluded to, is we're happy to provide a pilot, through this partnership with eCampusOntario. So we'll provide a link as a follow-up to this workshop where you'll have an opportunity to request a pilot, right? So you can kind of get access for your institution. So now I'm going to pass it over to Melissa, who's going to walk through a couple different use cases and also explain the workshop in a little bit more detail. Melissa?
Thanks so much, Andreas. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? Andreas, we're good? Thumbs up for me? Awesome. I'm going to steal the screen share if you would stop sharing your screen. And I want to talk a little bit today about JoVE, our website, and how you might navigate it a little bit, because our workshop today, we're going to be asking you to build some assets for your courses that you might be able to implement in the future. So before today, you were sent in some login information for JoVE. We can help you through that through our breakout sessions later if you don't have that information. But what I'm going to do in the next little bit is I'm going to show you our website, how easy it is to navigate it, as well as what it looks like to integrate that into your LMS and what you might already be using. Andreas and I have been talking about the way that you might be using JoVE or be interested in using JoVE, especially if you're working through eOntario, and the idea that you can use this in a supplementary way if you're using OER. This can be aligned with what you're already using. but it really is just a simple, gorgeous piece that can really help with student engagement. No student ever said, I want to go into a field because of the textbook I read or a video I watched, but it's because of the faculty members and how they relate with their students. So if we can make it so you can engage with your students more, that's what we want to do. So I'll share my screen. I'm going to hop into D2L Brightspace first. I know that that's what is a good example for today. Now you might use another LMS, and they're all very similar, but just kind of want to show you how you can leverage JoVE, whether you're talking about bio, chem, physics, statistics, our new intro to site content that's coming. We have a lot of different opportunities to work together. So you'll notice here I am directly in Brightspace. And Andreas, can you just give me a thumbs up? My screen is sharing.
Yes, it's sharing, Melissa. Yeah.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure everybody was seeing what I was seeing. And we talked a little bit about that pre-knowledge check, that student engagement piece, and flipping the classroom, having your students come in and already know some of those basic concepts. So one of the ways you can leverage JoVE is through a pre-lecture knowledge check. And this is sometimes, I apologize, when my internet goes a little slow around this time of day. But what's really cool here is you'll see our videos paired with questions directly in the LMS. So students aren't leaving D2L or Blackboard or Canvas, whatever LMS you're using, or Moodle, and they're able to go through, watch the video, answer a couple of questions, watch, oh, I have a couple of duplicates in here, watch another video, answer a couple of questions. So the idea there is that we're really chunking in that content, having them watch a little, answer a little, watch a little, answer a little to help with the retention of that material. If I click back to a playlist is a really great way to think about a chapter or a segment of content you want your students to see. Very often people will look at JoVE and they're like, okay, I see that they're videos, but how do I leverage this in the textbook I'm using? Or how do I think of this in the weeks that I'm teaching? Our team, or you, if you want to get your hands dirty, are able to build playlists with your concepts. So if there are thousands of learning outcomes in the course that you're teaching, but you're only teaching a couple of hundred, you only need to give your students access to the videos that you want them to see. So they won't have to get caught up in any additional content. What's really nice about those videos here, again, you'll notice we're still in the LMS. We haven't popped out anywhere else online. So we're not on YouTube getting caught on an ad or seeing a ton of cat videos or going down that YouTube hole. I'm staying right in the LMS. We have all of our videos in 14 different languages, and that's in audio and in the closed captioning. And then there's additional content available to your students as well. If this is sourced from OpenStax or an OER place, we actually link directly to the OpenStax page at the bottom of that content as well. So this is a really great way for students to navigate through those videos that you might think are appropriate for the chapter or the topics that you're working with them during that week. Really easy to navigate through that playlist or that chapter. Andreas mentioned that we also have lab safety, lab videos, lab procedures. And so I put a couple of those in here as well, just so you can see the type of videos that we have available. Very often we hear from faculty that they're spending time or they're spending money replacing expensive equipment because students don't know how to use it appropriately, or they didn't listen the first time that it was explained to them. So this is a really great way to have students go through that lab procedure, those lab procedures, as well as how to use certain tools. And then we mentioned that follow-up summative assessment. Now, our quiz feature is dynamic in the sense that if you build a playlist, our system will automatically build a quiz for you in that formative assessment with the videos and the questions chunked together. You have the ability to take those videos out and make a summative assessment and have a quiz available to your students directly in the course where you can assign a couple of questions each video or concept that you're working on, and students are able to navigate through that quiz with automatic grade return, What's also nice about this is, and I'll show you on the JoVE website on where we're going to have you guys setting up a playlist and a quiz, and a pre-lecture formative assessment. We'll talk about how you're able to edit all of this in a really easy, simple way, and set it as an unrestricted quiz so that you can control everything in the LMS, the extensions, the time it's available, and all of that. So our goal here, make it as simple as possible so that you don't get caught up in having to learn a new platform or anything like that. It allows you to teach as much as possible and not have to learn how to use one of the publishing platforms. So as you can see here, easy to navigate here for students to go through, and we're still in that D12. The last thing, we'll get into the description of our workshop and how we're going to work together.